So remember that I am speaking on the deeper aspects of Tantra. In the ancient texts, Tantra is described as a bird. Now, a bird has two wings. The wings of Tantra are bliss, one wing, and wisdom is the other wing. And Tantra is the bird. So, Tantra is the coming together of bliss and wisdom. It is very clear on this, and this is what distinguishes Tantra from all other spiritual paths, all other mystical streams. Without bliss, there cannot be wisdom. Without wisdom, there cannot be bliss. Or if there is wisdom without bliss, it is absolutely useless because the bird will not fly with one wing. So, Tantra is extremely revolutionary. Tantra makes life a balance between these two parts. And it's very interesting. It does not deny the deepest joy of life, the deepest bliss of life. And that's why it's been misunderstood for so many centuries, for so many thousands of years. It says that we are a great reservoir of energy, and the natural inclination of energy is to fulfill itself in bliss. That itself creates a deeper wisdom, that itself creates a deeper evolution within your being. Now, you'll notice on the path of Vedanta and other paths, you'll notice that there are people full of wisdom, but somehow it doesn't seem that they are full of bliss. You must have seen monks, you must have seen people of renunciation, people who seem to have given up the ordinary enjoyments of the world. But it seems that something within them is not so alive. They have denied themselves. They have gone into an asceticism. They have gone into a denial of desire. They have gone into a denial of so many things that something seems to be missing in their very being. Some essence of a deeper meditation. Some essence of a cooler sense of being, some essence of dissolved tensions, dissolved anxieties, sublimation of ego. You see, people who are morally very virtuous sometimes have a great ego, and the person of Tantra is supposed to not have that ego simply because Tantra denies nothing. So, in the middle of the sexual act, in the middle of indulgence, in the middle of work, in the middle of relationships, in the middle of living life in the most ordinary, spontaneous way, you can still find wisdom like a sudden bolt of lightning. So, Tantra is that bolt of lightning which makes you see truth, the highest truth, even in the ordinary phenomenon of the world, even in the most mundane phenomena of this terrestrial existence, this earthly existence. And in that way, Tantra brings a great richness to everything. It says nothing is ugly. And this is very interesting about Tantra. It says nothing is evil, nothing is ugly, nothing is a sin. All these are simply concepts of the conditioned moralistic mind, and that mind is not the mind for the future. That is not the way humanity should evolve. All these concepts are products of time, place, culture, etc. What is right, what is wrong, what is moral, what is not. Tantra says all this is simply rubbish. It is not worth 2 paisa. It is not worth a penny. It is absolutely nonsensical because it does not transcend time. It is too caught up in the moral code and dogma of the present moment. And Tantra exists in timelessness. It believes in absolute truth. It says that be meditative within yourself, but be meditative within any action. Let desire surface in your mind naturally. But if you're conscious of it, if you're meditative of it, that itself gives rise to the ultimate wisdom. And Tantra is exceedingly bold, exceedingly revolutionary in that way, because it creates a great deal of receptivity in your heart and mind. And through this receptivity itself, it expands you. It expands the mind to a degree where it can look beyond the momentary, where it can look beyond the mundane, where it can look beyond the ordinary and find enlightenment without any sense of shame, any sense of being a sinner or a saint, any sense of morality and immorality and so on. Tantra says all these are simply mental phenomena. These are simply our ways of looking at the world. Look at yourself as a completeness of energy. If you look at yourself as a completeness of energy, then you are able to go beyond all these relative phenomena. So Tantra takes you beyond the relative. It takes you into the beauty of the absolute. It says leave your mind behind. That whole mentality of morality, of virtue, all that is a conditioned response. All that is a product of what you have learnt in the classroom, what you have learnt in family, what you have learnt in your relationships. Yes, it has its own value, but do not believe that to be the ultimate truth. Do not believe that to be your true nature. Discover the inner meaning. Discover the deeper meaning of flowing with your energy in such a way that you are not fighting with yourself, where you are in a dialogue with yourself, where you are empty of these very limited concepts, depending on the space and time you exist within. You see, what was considered sin a few years back is now considered no longer a sin. But the problem is, religions don't evolve to the degree that they're supposed to evolve. Therefore, they keep man tied up in this sense of very retarded rules, regulations, and so on. Tantra says if you cannot be free of all that, you can never be truly relaxed in your being. You'll always feel this very tight grip of education, morality, upbringing, conditioning upon your mind, upon your heart. And as long as there's a tight grip around your mind and heart, how can you be spontaneous? How can you be transformative? How can you really fly like the bird of Tantra is meant to do? No, you will be weighed down. You will be like a bird in a cage. And the bird in a cage will never know what it feels like to use both wings. But the secret is that the cage is of your own making. And the door of the cage is always open. It is up to you to fly out of that cage. Why are you keeping yourself in your own cage? That cage is no cage at all. It is wide open. But you think the security that it offers, you think that a false sense of being protected that it offers will bring you fulfillment, will bring you happiness. And that is our very insanity. That is our neurosis. So Tantra says we are neurotic to believe that conforming to the traditional will bring us freedom. It never does. You see, why is Tantra so important in a modern context? You have to understand that the great psychotherapist, Freud's student Carl Gustav Jung took such a great interest in Tantra. He found it completely liberating. He found it to be an archetype of all of man's aspirations for freedom, for enlightenment, for the ability to fly to the greatest heights of self realization, cosmic realization, and so on. So, that is the power of Tantra. It is a question of energy, ingoing energy and outgoing energy. Look at it in this way. Ingoing energy is what? You are able to go penetrate deeper and deeper into your own reality, into your own consciousness, into your own truth that exists within you. And outergoing reality means, consciousness means you're able to transmit your energy, this energy that you have, this understanding that you have, you're able to express it within the world in whatever you're doing. It could be your work, it could be your relationships, it could be any pursuit of art, it could even be the sexual act. The whole point is the quality of energy is transformed. The quality of energy is freed of guilt. The quality of energy is freed of fear. It's freed of limitations, morality, and so on. It is only concentrated on bliss and wisdom. Through bliss, the realization of wisdom. And if that happens, every activity of yours becomes a path, a means to more enlightened living, a means to more calm and quiet understanding, tranquility, richness in every way, value creation, multi-dimensional creativity. So all the possibilities become clear. Our ability to live more successfully in every way becomes clear. And this very clarity is the gift of Tantra. This very freedom is the gift of Tantra. It's like that bird finding freedom in the clear sky of the Absolute. Let both bliss and wisdom come together.